Week 1 is done. And guess what? Most people aren't here anymore. They started strong. They had good intentions. They made promises to themselves, but they're gone. Quit, giving up, moved on to the next shiny thing or back to the old comfortable patterns, but not you. You're still here. I'm Brandon, and I've got your raw daily fuel for today. Here's what you need to hear. You just did something that 80% of people can't do. You showed up for 7 straight days. Not perfect days. I'm not talking about perfect workouts or perfect meals or perfect anything. I'm talking about showing up, being present, staying committed to your word when it got hard, when you didn't feel like it, when life threw obstacles in your way. That puts you in the top 20%, the minority. The few who understand that transformation isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. Most people quit by week 1. They start with massive enthusiasm, unrealistic expectations, and when reality hits, when they realize that change is hard work, that results take time, that there's no magic pill, they bail. They tell themselves stories about why it's not working, why they're different, why they'll try again later when conditions are better. But you didn't quit. You kept going. That's not luck. That's character. Week 1 wasn't about getting everything right. It was about getting started and staying started. It was about proving to yourself that you can make a commitment and keep it. It was about building the foundation of discipline that every transformation requires, and you did it. Here's something most people get backwards. They overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and dramatically underestimate what they can accomplish in a week. They think one perfect day is going to change everything. Then they get discouraged when it doesn't. They miss the compound power of 7 consistent days. 7 days of showing up, 7 days of choosing your goals over your feelings, 7 days of doing what you said you'd do even when you didn't want to do it. That's real power. That's how lasting change gets built. One day at a time, one choice at a time, 1 week at a time. The wins you got this week weren't just about the workouts you completed or the healthy meals you ate or the habits you started. The real win was proving to yourself that you can do hard things, that when you make a commitment to yourself, your word means something, that you're not someone who talks about changing. You're someone who actually changes. This is evidence. Hard, undeniable evidence that you're capable of transformation. When the voice in your head tries to convince you that you can't stick to anything, that you always quit, and you're not disciplined enough, you have week 1 as proof that voice is wrong. You have 7 days of evidence that says otherwise. Small wins matter more than most people realize. They create momentum. They build confidence. They establish identity. After week 1, you're not just someone who wants to change. You're someone who has changed. You're not someone who hopes to be disciplined. You're someone who has demonstrated discipline. This momentum is precious. Guard it, protect it, build on it, because momentum compounds. Week 2 will be easier than week 1 because you have proof now that you can do this. Week 3 will be easier than week 2 for the same reason. Each week you complete makes the next week more likely. The people who quit by now told themselves it was about time, about circumstances, about motivation, about results, but it wasn't about any of those things. It was about identity. They still saw themselves as someone who quits when things get difficult. You've proven that's not who you are. You're in rare company now. The 20% who make it past week 1. The minority who understand that showing up is more important than performing perfectly. The few who get that transformations is built through consistency, not intensity. But don't get comfortable. Week 1 was just the beginning. It was the foundation, not the finish line. It was proof of concept, not proof of completion. The real work is still ahead, but now you have evidence that you can handle the real work. Most people celebrate when they feel good and quit when they don't. You celebrated showing up regardless of how you felt. That's the difference between someone who transforms their life and someone who just talks about it. The habits you started this week are still fragile. The identity you're building is still new. The momentum you've created is still building. Week 2 is where you solidify what week 1 started. Week 2 is where you prove that week 1 wasn't a fluke. Here's your challenge for week 2. Don't change anything. Don't add more. Don't try to be more perfect. Don't increase the intensity. Just show up again. Repeat what worked. Trust the process you've already started. Consistency beats intensity every single time. The person you're becoming doesn't need week 2 to be perfect. They need it to be consistent. They need you to show up again. They need you to keep your word again. They needed you to prove that week 1 was the beginning of something bigger, not a temporary burst of motivation. You've already beaten 80% of people by completing week 1. Now let's see if you can stay in the top 10% by completing week 2. I believe you can, because you've already shown me who you are. You're someone who shows up. You're someone who finishes what they start. You're someone who understands that transformation happens 1 week at a time. I'm Brandon, and that's your raw daily fuel for today. If week 1 proves something to you about who you really are, hit that subscribe button. We're here every day to fuel the person you're becoming, 1 week at a time. Week 1, complete. Week 2, let's go.